Did I start it?
I think you just did.
For the first time, not in mid-conversation. Okay. I'm just putting my little air casty on. Okay.
Your air cast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome
to the podcast today. Do you hear that Velcro?
Yep.
Shay, why don't you tell them how your week was, and we'll explain why that Velcro sound is happening.
Well, thanks, Brie. What happened? Okay, well, my week was great.
Yow!
Oh, it looks okay now. Look, it's just a little bloody.
God. Just a little bruisey.
It's so much better. Okay, so anyway, so my week was great. And this week I decided to get a little moped scooter. Not like one of those stupid bird scooters that you see all around town.
No, you can just rent those.
You can just rent those. However, though, they are like $9 of fun sometimes when you have nothing to do in the good old town of San Antonio.
Oh,
anyway, so I got a little scooter and I went to go pick it up in the Boulder area, and I rented these 2 little ramps from the depots, the Home Depots, because I'm like, I'm an independent woman. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. But apparently I did kind of need a man this time. Anyway, so I got
just one part of the story. You needed one.
Yeah. So I get just an able body,
a human,
a body that was not gonna like trip over its own self like moi's. Anyway, so I get to Boulder, I get it all in my little truck, in my uncle's truck, and I drive it all the way back, and it's dark at that point, and I don't ask for help because I'm like, I can fucking do this.
All the women who independent.
Yeah,
that's what she was singing the whole way
back. And honestly, because I used to do all this shit by myself, and I was like, I can fucking do it by myself, so fuck everybody. So it's dark, and there's like no light out in my sad little parking lot, and I was tired, and my blood sugar had dropped because I hadn't really eaten all day.
My insulin was spiked.
Exactly, and
I don't even know if that's
I'm a cheap
terms.
ass, and I didn't want to like wait till the morning to return the $20 ramps that I had. Like, what was the difference?
Wait, wasn't Home Depot closed?
No, it was open till 10, so I had to like 10 to get them back, or I would have to pay like, it probably wasn't even $20. It probably was like 14. And I was like such a fucking cheap ass, and I was like, I'm gonna do this now. So
you were determined.
I was determined. So I've done shit like this before, so I was like, it's fine. So I'm loading it off, and I should have known because I was getting a little frustrated, and
that's always when it happens.
Yep. And I'm rolling it back, and for whatever reason, I thought I was stepping down on the you know how you have the bed of the truck, and then when the bed of the truck is like closed, like the little lip, then you can like step up where the little
where the trailer hitch and shit is.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, even though that bed part was down, I thought for whatever reason, it was going to be magically right there.
Extends magically
when you back like a weird step
open
stool.
the tailgate.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I just kicked your foot.
No, you're fine.
I just kicked it.
Great. It's fine. So I stepped backwards, and there was no ledge, and I fell down, and then the scooter fell on top of me. So then I just lay there.
Meanwhile, Shay's just in the dark with a scooter on her.
And I was just paralyzed with just like, my pride was mostly wounded because I didn't hear anything.
And
right. And I didn't hear anything crack. Like the scooter didn't hurt anything on my body. But I knew my ankle like went completely underneath me. And but I was like, that's it. 2 weeks. If I had broken my foot like 2 weeks ago, I would have been fine. I still would have had my insurance. But no, of course. So I'm freaking out. I'm having an anxiety attack. So this is it. I'm gonna be broke forever. And I'm
goddamn scooter.
Goddamn scooter. You're so adorable, and I hope it didn't scratch you. And I like limp. I'm like, I get up. I'm like, it's fine. And then I step down, and I'm like, instantly feel like this wave of nausea. I'm like, it's broken. It's totally broken. Oh my god. So I get, and I'm freaking out. And I'm calling my aunt that lives in Fort Collins. And she's like, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry. I'm like, it's not gonna be fine. I'm gonna die. So I And I'm trying to call my mom, and I get my other aunt who's in Texas, and she's like, call an ambulance. I'm like, I can't afford an ambulance. I live in America. So, anyway.
Yeah, $3,000 later.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. There's no bone sticking in my body. I'm staying here. It's fine. As I'm like going into shock. And I get there, and I get to my aunt comes, it's in Fort Collins, and she gets me to the emergency room, and it's it's as big as a goddamn fucking, like if a goose egg.
Softball.
If a goose egg had like a softball in it, that's how big it was. So I guess a softball, because a softball is bigger than a goose egg. So I swear to God, I didn't hit my head.
Because it would stretch to the side.
Yes, so stupid. Anyway, it's like my a double-sided coin bit. Anyway, so I get there, and the nurse is like, you're not gonna believe it, like and I'm freaking out. I'm like, it's broken. I can't, because when I would move it, like I could feel it, it wasn't attached to it. So I was freaking out and going, it's broken. There's no way. And she goes, you're not gonna believe it. It's not broken. And she's like, it could be the swelling is so big that we don't. If it is broken, it's like a tiny little hairline fracture. And I did that before, like when I had like a knee scoots.
Yep,
when I worked at the first time. Wasn't the first time. But she's like, it's not broken. And I was like, okay, that's fantastic. And she's like, not really. She's like, what you did is pretty much you tore the muscle from the bone. That's why it felt like it was. I was like, oh. She's like, so it's a bad sprain, but I'm like, hey, but it's cheaper. And she goes, that's one way of looking at it. I'm like, honey, with no insurance, that's the only way I'm looking at this.
Yeah,
okay?
seriously.
So just give
that's all I want to know.
Give me my non-existent bill that I'm going to not pay for a minute, and whatever. I'm just going to go now. So anyway, here I am. And then I started up my scooter today. I didn't ride it, but like, it works just fine. There was not a scratch on it. So.
I'll ride it for you. Make sure she's...
There you go.
I'll just fall.
Oh my God. Oh, actually, that was a funny story. When I actually got the scooter in Boulder, and she's showing it to me, and she's starting it up and everything else, and she's like, do you want to like ride it around? And I've never ridden a scooter before. I think I read Mackenzie's once, but I was so afraid I was going to crash it and be super embarrassed about it. So I was like, can you just like ride it around and make sure I know that it's fine? But I just won't ride it right now. Because I was like, I'm going to wreck it, and then you're going to be like...
It's probably good that you didn't, because you might...
Yeah, it would have not been good. But anyway.
We'll do some lessons. Mm-hmm. Actually, I might not be the best person.
It's fine. I'll fly Mackenzie out.
Okay. Mackenzie. Bring Booter the scooter.
Yeah, meet his little sister, Jerry, because she's a little redhead.
Jerry the Spice Girl.
Jerry the Spice Girl.
She's cute. She's a scoot.
Yeah.
A cute scoot.
She's a cute scoot. But anyway. So yeah, that's been my weekend, as I've been held up at... It's been a treasure, but it doesn't look as bad as it did. Trust me, like the whole thing was pretty swollen up.
You sent me a pic. Maybe we'll post it on our Instagram.
We'll post that so everyone can vomit.
You guys
great.
Can look at Shay's leg.
It'll be great. Yeah, it'll be good. But anyway, so that was my weekend. But something exciting happened to you this week that
I moved.
You moved.
Yeah, it was like a whirlwind. Like.
But do you love it?
I do already. We had our first night in our new little duplex that we got.
Nice.
And we used to live in Windsor, which is like a 30-minute drive to get into Fort Collins. And now we live in Fort Collins, literally next to Whole Foods, next to a Dairy Queen, next to parks and trails. And me and Leroy my dog, took a nice...
They know who Leroy
is. Like a
2-mile...
Oh, yeah, they do. We took like a 2-mile walk this morning, and I can't wait to explore more. We found some cool little spots, and it's like right by the Spring Creek Trail.
Awesome.
And it's just, I mean, obviously it's going to be closer to everything because I'm used to living in Windsor, but
right.
It's literally in such a great location, and it's like, it took me like fucking 10 minutes to get to your house today.
I know. Usually it takes like a Oregon Trail sized amount of time.
I have to ration my food. I have to shoot a few buffalo for...
Take some antibiotics for that dysentery you get. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get scarlet fever along the way.
It's true. And people like in probably Denver or whatever are just like, fuck you guys. Anyway, all right.
Cool.
You want to get started?
Yeah, fucking double dose of crime. So we just want to take a minute to tell you a little bit about Anchor, who hosts our podcast for us. And guess what? It's free, guys. So Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast, and they give you everything you need in one place, again, for free.
Everyone likes free stuff.
And you can use it right from your phone or computer. Even your phone, guys. We use our phones for everything. And now you can make a podcast on it.
Absolutely. And they have like this creation tool, which is really awesome. So even if you don't need like any fancy equipment or anything like that, if you just got a little mic and a little thought in your brain, has a little creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds terrific. And they'll distribute your podcast for you absolutely for free as well, so it can be heard everywhere. Super painless. It'll go from Spotify to Apple Podcasts to Google Podcasts and much more.
And the best part, guys, you can easily make money from your podcasts, which is what we're doing right now.
Right now.
So if you guys want to start a podcast, you totally can. Just download the Anchor button. If you're not already listening to us on Anchor, again, it's free. And
did we say it was free? It's free.
Yeah. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started on your podcast today. Do you know that song that I'm singing right now?
Yeah, it's the what's it?
Tom's Diner or some shit?
Yeah.
That song's literally about like nothing.
Isn't that a lot of? No, that's true.
It's literally a song about this
nothing?
girl who's just in a diner, and I think
midnight?
it's just about this girl that like sees this other lady outside the window, and then she like is fascinated by this woman, and that's literally all the song's about. But it's really about nothing. And it's
but I like the
she's
beat.
talking to the waiter, and the waiter says hello, yeah, and I'm going to put the milk into my coffee. It's so weird. Actually, I decided I want to do it at karaoke one day.
You should. I know. You and Marcus should do a duet.
Do. Marcus is my neighbor now.
Is he really?
Yeah, he lives down the fucking cross college from
Holy
me.
shit, that's kind of cool.
It's funny.
Wait, the same place?
Karaoke. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess you're right there. Yeah.
Anyway. Crime?
Crime. Let's do crime. Sorry.
I was trying to do an intro song and then I got sidetracked.
That's
always. That's my life.
Yeah. But anyway, that's also why I felt like 30, because I have to ask for help now. Like
we
a
do
little
have to acknowledge
elderly woman.
That is something I've learned being older.
But that's
because in my
actually-
20s, I was like, fuck you, I'm doing everything my fucking self.
Yeah,
Because
it really has nothing to do that I can't do it. It's just that I shouldn't have done it that way in my 20s. I should just learn to ask for help. Anyway, we will talk about crime now.
We're learning.
We're learning all together.
It's a crime to not learn.
Full circle.
Okay, am I first?
What week is this? Like how? Yes, you're first.
It's week 21.
It's a little different, I guess, since we're both doing the same thing. 22nd?
22.
22.
Baby boo. Okay, crime. I'm going to start this off with a little song, too. Are you ready?
Oh, here we go.
Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her father 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her mother 41.
Is it Lizzie Borden?
We're talking about Lizzie Borden today, guys.
Perfect.
A little nostalgic, because that song, that little ditty that we learned when we were little, I think my mom taught it to me. I don't know why.
I never learned that song.
You didn't?
I mean, I was just singing the other really awesome one, Ring Around the Rosie, which is
fucked up.
It's fucked up as well, but it's fine.
I was hoping you would think that's the song I was going to sing. But
Ring Around the Rosie?
Yeah, but
No.
I don't know.
How would I have known that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Forget it.
Forget it. Okay.
So we're talking about Lizzie Borden, which, I mean, by the song, you think you know the whole story, but you fucking don't. And
No.
I thought I did. I was like, she fucking murdered her family with axes? Sweet.
Right? Did you watch the one with Chloe? Is it Chloe Chauvelin? I don't even know her last name.
There was one with Christina Ricci, apparently.
I didn't see that one. I saw the one with it was with the Bewitched actress, the one who's played Samantha Stevens like back in the 70s. I saw her in that one, but I'm sure it wasn't completely truthful or whatever. It might have been though. I don't know.
Guess you'll find out.
We'll find out. But no, the one it was a recent one with God, who was the actress? She was in. Did you ever watch Big Love? Damn. Did you ever watch American Horror Story? Okay, well then never mind. It doesn't matter.
I suck. I also haven't watched Game of Thrones.
We're
Don't
not gonna talk.
murder
Well, you know
me.
what? I'm still mad about the last season, so it's fine. We don't have to talk about it.
Did you send me a Game of Thrones gift today?
No.
Oh,
That
okay.
was Lieutenant Dan. stupid. It was because she talked to me about how we
can't
really will get to
see.
murder, I swear to God. But like she was telling me how I
Crime.
was a gimp, and then I sent the gif of like when he's sitting in the New Year's bar and it's like throwing confetti and he just looks sad. So
I legit was like, is this from Game of Thrones? I don't get it. I didn't see his face.
like the confetti where they threw all the confetti around in the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it was like maybe there's a big
times.
party and with the dragons, the dragon slayers.
The dragon slayers. There's no dragons.
I think it's Jon Snow. I think that's who I thought it was. See the one with the beard and is always mad? It says winter's coming.
He's not always mad. He always just looks like he's depressed or has to poop. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, Lizzie Borden.
Lizzie Borden.
may have taken an axe. Mm-hmm. Okay, so first of all, Lizzie Borden, she was an American woman, and she was the main suspect in the August 4th, 1892 axe murders of her father and stepmother,
Okay.
not her actual mother,
Right.
in Fall River, Massachusetts. And as a result of the crime's sensational nature, especially for that time, I like these old ass crimes because they're like, what the fuck's going on around
Right. And
here?
they're like, we're gonna like measure your nose, and we're like, you're the suspect. Like with all of their. I mean,
well, your nose is long enough to maybe have been the culprit. Yeah, so it attracted a lot of national attention. Borden was actually she was tried for the murders, but she was acquitted of the murders, which I never knew. Based on the song, you're like,
yep, that's right.
She had to have gotten like convicted, right?
It was fucked up. Mm-hmm.
She didn't.
She didn't. She got away with murder.
And even though the crimes occurred 127 years ago, speculation about the crimes still continue.
Yeah, that's why there's movies about it. And I'll tell you about that one unless you cover it. You might cover it. So anyway, go on.
So Lizzie Borden was born on July 19th, 1860 in Fall River, Massachusetts, to Sarah Anthony Morse and Andrew Jackson Borden.
Some white bread names right there.
Lizzie Borden's mother died, and 3 years after the death of her mom, her dad married a woman named Abby Gray. And that was the stepmother that got murdered.
She got iced.
Lizzie stated that she called her stepmother Mrs. Borden. She didn't call her anything else.
Okay.
She also never gave a straight answer to prosecutors onto whether they had a cordial relationship. And she also believed that her stepmother married her dad for his wealth.
Oh, she was like, she is a
Little fucking home wrecking. Well, not really home wrecking.
gold digger.
Gold digger.
She's a gold digger.
So let's get right into this murder, okay?
Perfect.
This crime.
This crime.
So August 4th, 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were found hacked to death in their home. So here's the setting of like a little bit of the day before, and then because I'm going to tell you the story, and then you guys are, because I honestly like don't know after like reading all the details. I'm like, did she fucking do it? She probably did it.
Yeah.
But maybe she fucking didn't.
I feel like sometimes after like I watch like a movie or something like that, and I'm just like, yeah, she totally fucking did it. But then I'm like, did she do it? I don't know. But anyway.
Like it kind of reminded me of how I felt during watching the fucking, not Casey Anthony, the
Scott
girl
Peterson?
No, the one in Italy, the girl.
Oh, Amanda Knox.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Casey Anthony, like that bitch totally did it.
Yeah,
I don't even give a
not
shit.
Casey
Like,
Anthony.
yeah, but she did it.
Amanda Knox.
Amanda Knox for sure.
So here's
I have a hard time with that one as well.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna set the scene. John Morse, which was Lizzie's uncle, arrived in the evening of August 3rd.
Okay.
And slept in the guest room that night. After breakfast the next morning, at which Andrew, the dad, Abby, the stepmom, Lizzie, the uncle John, and the maid Maggie were present at breakfast.
Okay.
Andrew and Uncle Johnny went into the sitting room where they chatted for nearly an hour. John left around 8:48 to buy a pair of ox and to visit his niece in Fall River or something, and he was planning to return to the Borden home at lunchtime. And then after that, Andrew, the dad, left for his morning walk sometime around 9 a.m.
Man, what a time to be alive.
Right?
Going to buy ox.
I'm just going to go get my ox and look at my niece.
Just going to go take a little walk and at 9 a.m.
And he walks for like an hour and a half, okay?
Where's he going?
So, apparently Abby, the stepmother, went upstairs sometime between 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. They don't know. She went up there sometime. She never came fucking back down, okay? She never came back down the stairs. But she went up to clean. She went to do chores in the guest rooms between that time and to, like, make the bed or something like that. So, Lizzie has a sister named Emma, and she'll come up in a little bit. So, according to the forensic investigation, Abby was facing her killer at the time of the attack. She was first struck on the side of the head with a hatchet, which cut her just above the ear, causing her to turn and fall face down on the floor, creating contusions on her nose and forehead.
Jesus. Can you imagine? Like, just, like, right there on the ear, just, like...
Yeah, no. No.
I'd almost, like, not want to see it coming. Yeah. You know?
Just fucking get it
I mean, I also would rather
quick.
just not get hit by an axe either. I mean,
no, that's
if I was making choices,
not desirable.
Yeah.
Her killer then struck her multiple times, delivering 17 more direct hits to the back of her head, killing her.
17's a little much.
Yeah, it's not 41 though.
No, I
so
mean,
they exaggerated that.
That was a bold-faced lie.
So Andrew, the dad, was discovered in a pool of blood on the living room couch. His face nearly split in two.
Jesus.
I think this was a reporter reported. He was a reporter, and he reported this.
He reported things?
Over the left temple, a wound 6 by 4 inches wide had been made as if it had been pounded with the dull edge of an axe. The left eye had been dug out and cut extended the length of the nose. The face was hacked to pieces, and the blood had covered the man's shirt. Despite the gore, the room was in order and there were no signs of a scuffle of any kind.
So he was taking a nap?
Yeah. He like got home from his walk and they think he was just
went
like,
to take a nap, pooped.
And then someone just fucked him up.
Jesus. Well, I guess that's probably the way to do it, though. Is like, you know, he probably didn't see it coming. He probably didn't feel jack shit.
Yeah.
Hopefully. That sounds awful, but you
obviously, like, Maggie, the maid was at home, but she obviously, like, she didn't hear anyone. That's something that I thought was a little weird, but she testifies some weird shit too. So
I think that's what the whole thing was like. How did nobody hear her? Like, if somebody saw somebody coming at you with an axe, wouldn't you audibly scream? Yeah. Not just like inside your heart. But anyway.
So Abby was upstairs, like I said, and it was determined that she was killed first. So the initial speculation as to the identity of the murderer centered around a Portuguese laborer who'd visited the Borden home earlier in the morning and asked for wages that were due to him. And then I guess they said that Andrew told him that he had no money and to call later. And the story added that medical evidence suggested that Abby Borden was killed by a tall man who struck the woman from behind. So they did think she got struck from behind, but they thought it was by a tall man. So, I don't know.
A tall man in a bowler hat with a mustache.
Yes.
Very curly at the end.
Mm-hmm, and a spectacle.
It's a cartoon villain.
So then the suspicion soon fell on one of the Borden's two daughters, Lizzie, who was aged 32 at the time and single, and she lived with her father and stepmother.
She was probably going mad with hysteria because she was single and 32.
She was.
Spinster.
Hashtag 30-ish,
right?
You know?
Dude,
she was living it.
Younger than me.
Don't kill anyone with an axe, guys. We're gonna make it through.
It's true. I mean, honestly, you know, us and our mad ovaries.
Yes. Just drying up.
Rotten eggs do weird things to a woman's brain.
So... Lizzie was the only other person in the house besides their maid, Bridget Sullivan, who was home when the bodies were found. So then, promptly, Lizzie Borden was arrested and charged with a double homicide. Mm-hmm. So police came to the conclusion that the murders must have been committed by someone within the Borden home, obviously, because... Right. And they were puzzled by a lack of blood anywhere except on the bodies of the victims, and their inability to uncover any obvious murder weapon. They did talk about finding an axe in the basement, but it was like the head was broken off and the handle was somewhere else, and so there was like a couple of them.
Yeah. So they never found the murder weapon? They never found the axe?
Well, they found the axe. Those were the axes that they used as the murder weapons that they thought.
Okay.
But
there's no blood on them.
There wasn't.
That's weird.
So investigators found it odd that Lizzie knew so little of her mother's whereabouts after 9 a.m. when, according to Lizzie, she had gone upstairs to put shams on the pillows. So she knew that she'd gone up there, but I guess they lost her for an hour while she was putting shams on the pillows. It was probably a
pretty big house. Back in what do you say?
1890.
Yeah, in the 1890s. Yeah. Ooh, mine is like set in kind of the 1890s.
Ooh, hell
weird.
Yeah.
ESPN right there.
Yeah, 1892. So, oops, I lost my spot.
I know, I made you look for the date and I fucked you up.
It's because I never paid attention to history. I can't remember dates worth of shit.
And neither can I. Except the time about the Alamo. Because I don't remember sometimes when that happens.
Yeah, I don't. Anyways, they also found unconvincing they found her story unconvincing that during the 15 minutes in which Andrew Borden was murdered in the living room, Lizzie was out in the backyard barn looking for lead sinkers for an upcoming fishing excursion is what she said she was doing.
Man, putting shams on pillows, looking for lead.
Yeah.
Again, what a time to be alive.
Mm-hmm. That's all you gotta worry about.
Jesus.
32 years old, fucking getting lead sinkers.
She's like, I just need it to find me a man to go get me some fish.
So the barn loft where she said she looked revealed no footprints on the dusty floor, and the stifling heat in the loft seemed likely to discourage anyone from spending more than a few minutes searching for equipment that would not be used for days. So it was like, why were you just randomly out there at a really hot time in the day looking for these things, you little liar?
Yeah, that's fair. Doesn't quite add up.
So during her 4 hours of examination, Lizzie gave confused and contradictory answers. 2 days later, the inquest adjourned and the police chief Hillard arrested Lizzie Borden. So on August 22nd, Lizzie returned to the Fall River courtroom for her preliminary hearing, and at the end of which Judge Josiah pronounced her probably guilty and ordered her to face a grand jury and possible charges for the murder of her parents.
Oh.
So in November of that year, the jury met, and after first refusing to issue an indictment, the jury reconvened and heard new evidence from Alice Russell, who was a family friend who stayed with the Borden sisters in the days following the murders. So Alice told the grand jurors that she had witnessed Lizzie burning a blue dress in a kitchen fire, allegedly because, as Lizzie explained, it was covered with old paint.
Red paint?
I don't know. I know. I'm like, what color paint was on there?
Well, you know what? It's a good rule of thumb. When you need to get rid of clothes, you burn them. Mm-hmm. They don't have no goodwill back then.
Yeah, no, they don't. You just gotta burn your clothes.
You just gotta burn them.
You can't just throw them away.
No, you can't recycle, or they don't know how to sew or anything like that back then.
No. They don't have any old wives' tricks for getting stains out.
Sure don't.
Coupled with the earlier testimony of Bridget Sullivan that Lizzie was wearing a blue dress on the morning of the murders, the evidence was enough to convince jurors to indict Lizzie for the murders of her parents.
Damn. Sounds pretty open and shut if you ask me.
Ooh,
that's your phone.
I know. Oh, it's not. So the trial opened on June 5th, 1893. A high-powered defense team, including Andrew Jennings and George Robinson, who was a former governor of Massachusetts, represented the defendant, while the district attorney Knowlton and Thomas Moody argued the case for the prosecution. So before a jury of 12 men, Moody opened the state's case. So, at one point during the trial, the skulls of the parents were like revealed in the courtroom so they could show what happened.
Gross. It's disgusting.
And when they unveiled those, Lizzie fell after fainting, and she fainted for like 7 minutes. Was like on the floor, like passed out for a little bit?
Did she do like the whole hand? And
she probably did. It was probably fake.
Yeah, totally. Liar. She's like, "Where's my fainting couch?" And then she just faints on there. She's like, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah. So again, Bridget Sullivan testified that Lizzie was the only person she saw in the home at the time her parents were murdered. And though she provided some consolation to the defense when she said that she had not witnessed during her 2 years of service to the family signs of a rumored ugly relationship between Lizzie and her stepmother, she denied. She said everything was very pleasant. She said Lizzie and her mother always spoke to each other. Other prosecution witnesses disputed that assertion that all was fine between Lizzie and her stepmother. For example, a woman named Hannah Gifford, who made a garment for Lizzie a few months before the murders, described a conversation in which Lizzie called her stepmother a mean, good-for-nothing thing, and said, I don't have much to do with her. I stay in my room most of the time. So there were multiple people that were saying, like, they did not like each other, and even the sister testified, like, yeah, we didn't have the greatest relationship with her, but Lizzie, like, loved her father.
Right.
So
maybe she had to sacrifice her dad just to throw him off the trail.
I know, right? I don't know. So Sullivan also testified that Andrew and Abby Borden experienced stomach pains on the day before the murder and told jurors that at the presumed time of Abby's murder, Lizzie claimed she was washing outside windows. Sullivan did testify that she opened the door for Andrew Borden after he returned home from his walkabout town and then described hearing Lizzie's cry for help a few minutes after 11 o'clock.
So Lizzie was the one that found, quote unquote, her dad. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After she killed him. Okay.
And there was also, the maid also said that she heard, like, laughter coming from upstairs. I don't know if that's true because I don't know how that would have happened. Like, after the mother would have been already dead or something, that she heard Lizzie laughing upstairs or something weird.
Oh.
Anyway.
Interesting. Maybe the maid was just like...
I feel like maybe the maid fucking did it.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
For
I don't
garnished wages.
Anyway, probably not. Lizzie sounds like a liar.
Yeah, she sounds kind of like a manipulative shrew.
So most of the officers who interviewed Borden reported that they disliked her attitude. Some said she was too calm and poised. Despite her attitude and changing alibis, nobody bothered to check her for blood stains. Police did search her room, but it was a cursory inspection.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I think it was cut short for sure because Lizzie said she wasn't feeling well.
Hey.
So
there's some evidence in here, so my tummy kind of hurts. Can you get out of here?
I have to burn my dress. Can you leave me alone? So Dr. Seabury Bowen, who is Lizzie's doctor, recounted Lizzie's story about looking for lead sinkers in the barn and her contention that her father's troubles with his tenants probably had something to do with the murders. And on cross-examination, Seabury agreed with the defense's suggestion that the morphine he prescribed for Lizzie might account for some of the confused and contradictory testimony she gave at the inquest following the murder. So she had been prescribed morphine for some shit she was going through, like, earlier that week or something. So they were, like, trying to say that that's why... Because she kept changing her story.
Like, wait.
Well, she would also, like... So she would say that she was, I was, like... washing the windows, and then I was getting lead sinkers. So they're saying the morphine
was because it was causing her, like, delirium,
confusion and shit. Yeah.
Gotcha. Morphine doesn't cause delirium for me. It just knocks me the fuck out. But morphine kind of might have been a lot different in the 1890s. I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows what it was
like? Who knows? He's like, here's this cocaine. It's fine.
So John Fleet, the assistant marshal of Fall River, recalled his interview with Lizzie shortly after the murders, and he was talking about Abby like it was her mother, and Lizzie was like, she was not my mother, sir. She was my stepmother. My mother died when I was a child. So she, like, made sure she corrected him. Like, she made sure that was not my fucking mom.
She wasn't like the little bird in Dr. Seuss's book. Suspicious. Are you my mother?
So Russell described, this was the Alice, the friend. Mm-hmm. Russell also described a visit from Lizzie the night before the murders in which Lizzie announced that she would soon be going on a vacation and felt that something is hanging over me. I cannot tell what it is. Then, according to Russell, after describing her parents' severe stomach sickness, which she attributed to bad baker's bread.
That yeast can be...
It can be testy.
It can be testy.
It was the raw milk, sir.
It was
the
horrible.
Listeria in the milk.
It made their face explode.
Lizzie revealed that she's like, I feel afraid something is going to happen to my family.
Oh, okay.
She also told
by my
Russell,
own hand.
Yeah, she wanted to go to sleep with one eye half open, for fear somebody might burn the house down or hurt her father because he was so discourteous to people. Okay. So I don't know. Anyways, so that was like the day before the murders. His questioning, so,
either she's a psychic or like the worst, person trying to. She's like her own worst enemy, going like, yeah, no, I thought something bad was gonna happen.
Yeah,
Wink.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I knew.
It's like I knew because I was gonna do it.
So on cross-examination, defense attorney George Robinson attempted through his questions to suggest that a guilty person seeking to destroy incriminating evidence would be unlikely to do it in so open of a fashion as Lizzie allegedly did. So that was to like, well, she was burning her dress and she told you guys that, so like she wouldn't, if she was guilty, she wouldn't have done it. Like she would have hid herself burning that dress if she was trying to incriminate any evidence.
Or she was ballsy as fuck and she was just like, whatever. Yeah. It's like, I'm burning the dress. I mean, doesn't everyone burn their dresses?
Exactly, and the jury was hoping...
It's just a typical Sunday afternoon, okay? I'm going to burn my dress. Afterwards, I'm going to, like, murder 4 kittens. That's what we do. That's what we country ladies do. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly. What else am I supposed to do? Right? I'm 32.
I've got all the time in the world. I don't have a man.
So, also, another story that Lizzie said was that... she received a message on the morning of the murder summoning her to visit a sick friend.
Okay.
So it was like, this was another story that she said happened. So
she was just all over the place.
Yeah. Or I think the message was for her mom to visit a sick friend. So she was like, I didn't know where she went. That was like, so that's why I didn't look for my mom or whatever. Her stepmom or something like that. And then despite a thorough search of the Borden home, the alleged note was never found. Russell, the friend, said she sarcastically suggested to Lizzie that her mother might have burned the note. And Lizzie, according to Russell, replied, yeah, she must have.
Yeah, that's what everybody did back in the 1890s. They just burn everything. Yeah. They don't believe it.
Yeah. So Alice Russell was like, you're a fucking liar. She probably burned the fucking dress and the note, too.
That's how we disposed of our food, too. We just burn the leftovers. Like, what the fuck? Okay. Yeah, sure. And again, it's almost impressive at this point with everything you told me that she got off. But
yeah, dude,
go ahead.
Right?
Keep going.
So the defense presented only a handful of witnesses. Charles Gifford and Uriah Kirby reported seeing a strange man near the Borden house around 11 o'clock on the night before the murders. Dr. Benjamin Handfee testified that he saw a pale-faced young man on a sidewalk near 92nd Street around 10:30 a.m. on August 4th. There was a man in the street, so that could have been him.
He was tall, and he wore a coat, and he was a man.
So a plumber and a gas fitter testified that in the day or two before the murders, they had been in the Borden's barn loft, casting doubt on police assertions that Lizzie's alibi was suspect because dust in the loft appeared undisturbed.
Okay.
Following Jennings, Governor Robinson, in his closing speech for the defense, insisted that the crime must have been committed by a maniac or a devil, not by someone with the respectable background of his client. Always fucking Ted Bundy, fucking all of them.
Fucking, this is like O.J. Simpson trial of 1892.
It's true.
Jesus.
He said the state had failed to meet its burden of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and that it was physically impossible for Lizzie, without the help of a Confederate, to have committed the crime within the timeline suggested by the prosecution. So, because she was a lady, they're like, there's no way she could have done it. So
with
that
her
really
lady parts and her little lady brain, there's no way she could have just figured this out.
There's no way she could have.
And she's single.
Hacked someone 30 times each to kill him.
And again, and she's single. Like, she's just not built correctly. There's no way that she could have done this. And she has money. Doesn't make any sense. Again, what a time to be alive. Jesus.
So apparently there was a theory that Lizzie...
Apparently it was pretty funny.
That Lizzie was killed. She killed her parents while she was naked because there was no blood spots found anywhere.
That was the biggest one that I've heard, is that she killed them naked.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Maybe that's why her mother didn't scream. I'm sorry, her stepmother didn't scream.
Yeah, her stepmother.
She was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I thought that was
You
funny.
can't hold an axe, you're a lady.
So yeah,
She was confused.
Robinson ridiculed the theory that she had avoided getting blood spots on her clothes by killing her parents while stark naked, and argued that the murders might have well been committed by an intruder who passed out of the house undetected. Summing up for the defense, Jennings argued there is not one particle of direct evidence in this case from beginning to end against Lizzie Borden. There is not a spot of blood. There's not a weapon that they have connected with her in any way, shape, or fashion. So
sounds like she was
I did read
smart.
some places they found that axe that was like disassembled and whatever, but there's a couple different
I've heard
stories.
some things like that she disassembled it and she like burned the handle but I don't know what happened to the head of it.
But also, how could she have done that?
Exactly. That's true too. Like, it's just how there's no the timeline doesn't make any sense. But anyway.
So she was eventually found not guilty after an hour and a half of deliberation.
That's it?
Yeah. Jesus. So papers generally praised the jury's verdict. And it is probably fair to say that however likely it might be that Lizzie did murder her parents, the prosecution did fail to meet its burden of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
I mean, that's true.
But it's like...
I mean, at the same time, it's like, you know, I will say this, it's amazing, like, maybe even then, like, they were like, well, they just didn't... If the evidence wasn't there, the jury was doing its job, and it was like, it didn't, like, I mean, they could have, like, made it like a witch hunt, and just like, because what if she didn't do it? And then, you know, but sounds like she was just too smart for the jury, or whatever, and they had sympathy for her, and so, but, you know, I'll say that. Usually they don't end like that. They're like, hey, yeah, you're a lady, and you got a vagina? Hang her! So,
Burn her!
Burn her! She's a witch!
Like her dress that she burned.
Everything apparently in the letters and silly. Anyway.
So, the state's case rested largely on the argument that it was impossible for anyone else to have committed the crime. Mm-hmm. And for the Borden jury, that and a few other suspicious actions on Lizzie's part turned out to not be enough for the conviction. So, like, even with all that, like, who else would have done it? It's either the maid or Lizzie.
Yeah. And it's, I mean...
It sounds like it was Lizzie.
Yeah.
She sounds... But, like, why would she want to kill her daddy?
To her... I don't know. Just to... Maybe she was crazy.
She was just crazy.
She was crazy and wanted to throw them off the trail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was the sacrificial lamb.
Yes. So...
Or ox, I guess, in this story.
Oxen.
Yeah.
Had the defendant been a male, some speculate the jury might have been more inclined to convict. One of the defense's great advantages was that most persons in 1893 found it hard to believe that a woman of Lizzie's background could have done such a thing. So that, I mean, she definitely could have gotten away with murder. She definitely did.
Yeah. For sure.
And she, like, went on to live a really normal life. She, like...
But didn't her...
hung out with actors and artists, and then her and her sister, like, moved somewhere, and then they died, like, shortly after each other or something.
But didn't they, like, not talk to each other?
The sister?
Yeah, I feel like... Maybe not. I could have misread that before. I go in these spouts where, like, I research them like crazy, and then I just kind of forget what I learned. So, like, school.
Well, after the trial, Lizzie and her sister purchased a home together.
Oh, so I'm wrong. Yeah.
Lizzie took interest in the theater, frequently attending plays and often associating with actors, artists, and bohemian types. Emma did move out in 1905, and then Lizzie continued to live in that house until her death at age 67.
Damn.
And she was buried by the graves of her parents. Her cracked-skulled parents.
Their stepmother?
I'm sorry, her stepmother and her... Well, maybe her mom.
Maybe
her stepmom
maybe they
wasn't
nestled
buried.
her right next
Maybe
to her
the
stepmom.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
It would be. But that is the story.
That's awesome. Okay, so...
of Lizzie Borden. And really wasn't about 81 whacks. It was more like 29 whacks. So
29 and a
that's
half.
a really exaggerated song.
It's true. Now, did you know that you can actually go and tour the house?
The macabre
and you
or
can
something?
stay there. Can you imagine?
go.
Fuck no. Absolutely not. No, I would never
She's
stay
like,
there.
she comes to us.
Probably. Oh my god. But there's also like a movie. It has the Chloe, whatever her last name is. I can't remember what her name is.
Kardashian.
Yep, that's it. And she plays Lizzie Borden, and they she does the thing where she was naked, and so it's like their kind of take on it.
Oh, so it's like a porno?
Yeah, no. But she was, yes. They play really awesome music and everything.
Lizzie Borden holds his axe. Just kidding.
And it slices
Took
her.
his axe.
Yep, and slices her in two.
Till two become one.
But she
horrible porno name.
She I think that storyline though, they make it through like she had like a lesbian like relationship with the maid.
It was a porno.
Yeah, well, kind of, but no, they don't. I don't think they really show anything, but they just like it's like this lesbian relationship, and the dad found out about it, and he was mad, and so it was like Lizzie Borden and the maid did it together.
Oh, but then
they didn't talk to each other because I think the maid felt guilty or whatever. But it depicts that Lizzie Borden was the mastermind, but the maid also had a part in it. But yeah, but that she ran around naked and everything else, and killed her dad, and because their dad like got mad because he caught her. But so I don't know how much of that is. It's a movie, so it's probably not true. But it was an interesting take on it. Like, well, what if it was something like that where it wasn't just one person that did it? What if they both did it? What if they both had a hand in it? You never know. So that
but then why was
spin.
Homegirl like being like, this is all the shit she said. She was upstairs. I want to watch.
Because it kind of showed like that she turned on her and everything else, and it was an interesting take, and it was actually a pretty good movie. But it made you think like, well, was it? I mean, was it like was it just Lizzie Borden, or did she have an accomplice? Did the maid do it? But then they ended up not talking to each other ever again. So I don't know. It was an interesting take. I don't think it's factual, but
yeah, who knows?
It was an interesting take.
So yeah, this was interesting. I didn't really go farther into this, but
yeah, because I have to edit this today and release it today.
So Andrew apparently returned at 10:30 in the morning. His key failed to open the door, so he knocked for attention. Sullivan, the maid, went to unlock the door, finding it jammed. She uttered an expletive. She would later testify that she heard Lizzie laughing immediately after this. So she heard Lizzie laughing after that, did not see Lizzie, but stated the laughter was coming from the top of the stairs.
Oh.
And this would have been when Abby had already been dead.
Oh.
So Lizzie later denied being upstairs and testified that her father had asked where Abby was, and she had replied that the messenger had delivered Abby the summons to go visit a sick friend.
Oh.
So that was that little story side bit. So it's all fucking weird. So it's like...
It is weird.
I don't know. It's... Lizzie probably fucking killed her stepmom and her dad.
But it's an interesting story.
It is.
That's pretty awesome.
And now I know the story behind the song.
Yeah, even though the very incorrect song, but that's okay.
Did you ever watch Smart Guy?
Smart Guy.
Smart Guy. Doo-doo. It was on Disney.
No, I thought that was like called Smart House or something like that.
Oh, Smart House.
Yeah.
That's a real good movie, but no. There's Smart Guy with like Taj Mowry, Tia and Tamara's little brother.
I think I remember seeing it, but I don't ever really...
Omar Gooding, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother.
Really? Yeah. No, I don't remember really watching it, no.
Anyways, well, there was an episode where the sister does like a report on Lizzie Borden, and then she like gets all crazy, and then she like freaks her... She like pretends like she just goes crazy because she's doing this report on Lizzie Borden, and she like... It's like this whole episode about Lizzie Borden, and I remember watching it when I was little. Nostalgia.
A little dark.
Hashtag nostalgia.
That's a little dark.
It was funny. But it was like a creepy, like Halloween, around Halloween time episode. It was still funny, but it did creep me out.
That's fair.
Do you remember the fucking episode of Boy Meets World where they're like, where Sean kills everyone?
No.
What? It's like a dream.
I only watched that like in handfuls. I never watched. I was never like a religious watcher
Someone
of Boy Meets
back
World.
me up. Tell me that you guys have seen those episodes of those shows.
I'm sure they have.
Tell me.
Right now.
All right. Double dose of crime.
All right.
We're on our double shot. Our second shot of crime.
Second shot. So let's take some shots.
All right.
Okay. We're on.
Oh. Hello.
Again.
It's Brie. And it's Shay, and we're just about to give you a second dose of crime stories. It's no secret that Lizzie Borden murdered her parents with a fucking axe. Hello from Shay's room. That's where we're recording this, 'cause she broke her fucking ankle, yeah.
That was really, really good.
I freestyled that whole thing,
That
guys.
was so amazing, and you can't remember lyrics.
I can't. I can just make them up.
It's good though. It's a good little trait. All right, are you ready? Are you ready, Freddie?
I don't know.
It's a good one. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. This is the story. Actually, it was weirdly enough.
Lovely lady.
No, he was not
Horrible man.
He was not a lovely lady, but it was also in like around 1888, 1892. Nice. Weird, kind of.
Yeah.
So this is.
We're always paralleling each other. Also, my crime was like August 4th.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah. And she's 32. She's 30-ish.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, do you know who America's first serial killer is? Take a guess.
Lizzie Borden?
Nope. She was not a serial killer. She just
You're right.
double homicide.
Does serial killer just mean you just keep killing a bunch of people?
I think it's like
right?
a series, like 3 or more.
You eat cereal before you kill.
You eat cereal before it.
Yeah.
And everyone just got mixed up.
Cereal.
Anyway, so no, you don't know who it is? Take a wild guess.
David Copperfield.
No, so close.
Okay.
H.H. Holmes.
Oh.
You ever heard of him?
Maybe a little.
You probably have.
H.H.?
H.H.
Is that spelled
Holmes.
out H.H.?
That is just H. It's just H.H. Holmes.
Okay.
And he's a demon in the rough, if you will.
Oh.
Yes, one of a kind, but not the good kind.
Let's talk about him.
Yes. So H.H. Holmes was
H.H. That's creepy already.
Well, yeah. He's a creep boat. H.H. Holmes was born as Herman.
He's
Webster,
a creep cruise.
Yeah, creep cruise. Herman Webster Mudgett on May 16th.
That was
in
the last name of my
1861.
geography teacher.
Maybe he was related to him. Who knows?
Weird dude.
Well,
He was on the wore shorts all the time and sandals. Did I tell you about him? Anyway.
no, weirdo. Mudgett.
What
And
was his first name?
it's not him. Herman.
Oh, Herman. Okay.
Well, he was born in 1862.
Okay.
Or
Herman.
1861. So,
That's a cute name.
it's adorable, isn't it? His upbringing was
Hottie.
Yeah, hottie. That's what the H stands for. Double H stands for. In Gilmanton, I might not be saying that right. New Hampshire. He was born in New Hampshire.
Oh,
All right,
mine
guys?
was on the East Coast too, Shay.
That is so weird.
These people are fucked up in New England.
Maybe
Jesus.
they get too much of that salty air. Mm-hmm. He had a relatively normal upbringing. Like nothing really out of the ordinary. Not enough to like make him a murderer. Anyway.
Well, they did name him Herman.
I mean, that's fair. But I mean, they asked. Is that neither here nor there? Parents were like super religious. Dad was strict. Blah 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 blah. He was constantly bullied though due to him being like a little Poindexter. He's super smart and everyone bullied him for it.
Oh, his name would be Herman.
Yeah, he kind of had it coming. Unfortunately, poor Hermie. Maybe that was his little nickname. And there was one incident where he apparently was pulled like into like the office of the town doctor and was forced to confront a skeleton, which apparently it fucked him up according to an interview he gave. And he said it like made him fascinated with death, which I don't really know how that works, but like that's what he said. That's where he said it all kind of stemmed from, is that he was bullied and they made him look at a skeleton at the office, and he was just so like, I want to make sure that's recording. He was so like fucked up, and that's he just had the
Poor little guy.
I know. Well, you say that now, but he's kind of
Well,
in
this
the brain.
probably led him to do the crazy shit.
maybe, or maybe he's lying and there's something else. But there was no other like. There's not a whole lot we know about his early childhood. So he goes on to go to medical school, and during medical school, he begins to steal cadavers from the laboratory. Yeah.
How do you steal a cadaver?
Well, it's in the 18 whatever.
It's cadaver, right?
It's cadaver. Yeah.
Not cadaver?
No, cadaver.
Cadaver.
Yeah, cadaver.
Okay.
I'm saying it wrong. Sorry.
Wait, cadaver?
Cadaver. There's a D in there. So he burned them or disfigured them, and then he planted the bodies, making it look like as if they had been killed in an accident. And the reason why he was doing this, he would take out insurance policies on these people before planting on like just people in general, and then he would just like start planting bodies to make it seem like they were dead. And he would collect money once the bodies were discovered. And he It was just it was an insurance scam. He was a scam artist. So he would like just like make
How would he get the money though? If these people
because he would pull names out of whatever, like a hat, and then he would like name himself as the beneficiary, but then he was using cadavers, so it's like this is who this is, and he would make up people.
They didn't check that shit.
They didn't check that shit, so they're like, here you go. So and then he also apparently loved to like operate on cadavers. So it was like his favorite thing just to like dissect bodies and shit like that. So there was some signs. But anyway, so he graduates in he graduates in 1884, and he moves to Chicago and takes on a new name, which is Dr. Henry H. Holmes. And it was a homage to Sherlock Holmes.
Dr. Henry?
Dr. Henry, which now that's all I see. And
hey
Henry, love you. Okay,
don't do this.
And he chose the name Holmes as a homage to Sherlock Holmes because he loved a good mystery.
He loved to cause them.
He'd love to cause them. Oh God, it hurts my leg. Okay, so
stretch it out, Shay. Stretch out the leg.
Stretch out the leg. He takes a job. He takes a job as. Oops, I wrote that wrong. Sorry. He takes a job in a pharmacy, and when the owner of the drugstore passed away, he left. The owner left his wife to take over the responsibilities of the store. However, Holmes convinced her to let him buy the store. And apparently, I actually got some information from the last podcast on the left, and they were there through their research that they stated that like he actually promised to pay her the money, and he just kept like making up excuses that I don't have the money this month, and she finally actually like sued him. And then
she died.
But then the widow just soon went missing and was never seen from again. And Holmes claimed that she moved to California, but this could never be verified. Other sources say that the claim that he killed them is completely fabricated. But whatever the truth is, he had like a good flow of money coming in from the pharmacy. Like he owned it at some point, and he had a good flow of money coming in, and he continued his scams. And one of which was like this mineral water elixir that was just bottled city water of Chicago.
Perfect.
Right? Super chalky. It's just my phone. I don't know where it is.
Oh, I was like, are there wind chimes?
It's fine. I don't know where it is.
Or am I crazy?
Oh, no. It's just the...
Speaking of wind chimes, I gotta put mine on my new house.
You should. Keep the demons away.
I have my evil eye out. Don't worry.
Oh, that's a good one. So he goes on to purchase an empty lot across the street from the drugstore. He designed and built a 3-story hotel, which the neighborhood called...
Died the bodies?
Not yet. Which the neighborhood called the Castle. During its 1889 constructions, Holmes would hire and fire several construction crews so that no one would have like a clear idea what he was doing. So he was like, he would bring in an architect and he would build like one room and then he would fire him. So nobody knew the exact layout of this house. Like that's how methodical he was.
What?
Yeah. So people
are insane.
Yeah. So he was designing his
really clever,
what would known to be called the murder castle.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the first floor of the castle had several stores, a pharmacy, a jewelry store, a barber shop, a restaurant, and a blacksmith shop. And the 2 upper levels contained Holmes' office and over 100 rooms that were used as living quarters. Some of these rooms were soundproof.
Quote unquote living.
Right. So some of these rooms were soundproof and contained gas lines so that Holmes could asphyxiate his guests whenever he felt like it. Yeah. I'm telling you all about now, like, what was in these rooms. So just hold on.
Oh my fucking fucks.
So throughout the building, there were trapdoors, peepholes, stairways that led to nowhere, chutes that led to the basement. All of the doors and some of the steps were connected to an intricate alarm system. So whenever someone had stepped into the hall or headed downstairs, a buzzer sounded.
Oh, like Holmes, Michael Jackson's home?
Kind of.
Oh my
So when
God.
everyone would like go in and out or they would go down a certain type of hallway, a buzzer would sound in Holmes's fucking bedroom and he would be like,
lair.
It's time to go to work.
Dinner
Pretty much, except not. So it's not.
It's time for fun.
It's not for Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, he didn't eat them.
So the basement was designed as Holmes' own lab. It had a dissecting table, a stretching rack, and a crematorium. So sometimes he would send the bodies down the chute
To burn his dresses?
to burn all of his dresses, which he might have. He's like, who's a pretty little girl? Sometimes
I'd fuck me.
I'd fuck me so hard. Sometimes he would send the bodies down the chute, dissect them, strip them of the flesh, and then sell them as human skeleton models to medical schools. So
Gotcha, bitch.
So he was making money off of them. So in other cases, he would just choose to cremate or place the bodies in the pits of acid. Lovely. So, yeah. So can you just imagine, like, if Yelp was a thing back then? 1 star. I'm not doing this.
No one ever reviews it because they never come out. It's really weird.
However, there were some people that would come and go. No problem. And then if you were if you were insecure, though, could you imagine? You'd be like, why didn't he choose me? What's wrong with me?
But wait, why didn't I?
And that's how I became anorexic.
Oh my God.
So anyway, so after...
It's sad, but people think like that.
It's true. So after construction was complete in 1891, Holmes placed ads in newspapers offering jobs like for young women and advertised the castle as a place of lodging. All of Holmes' employees, hotel guests, fiancés, because he had like a slew of them, and wives were required to have life insurance policies, which I'm not quite sure how he did that for his guests.
That's weird.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so
because it was the fucking 1890s, and people
true.
are like, "Oh, this whatever. I guess this makes sense.
it's fine." Holmes paid
Nothing's established, so this is fine."
Yes, it's true. Holmes paid the premiums as long as they listed him as the beneficiary. Most of his fiancés and wives would suddenly disappear, as did many of his employees and guests. Shocking. In 1893 is when the World Fair came to Chicago, and that's when it is believed a lot of his killings took place. So he would
all those extra tourists,
right? Well, and a lot of these tourists back in like the 1890s, like they weren't. So this is 1891. So this is around the same time that this happened with Lizzie Borden. So so at that time, like women were starting to travel out by themselves, and they weren't telling their relatives where they were going, much less like let alone like where they were sleeping or whatever. So they were perfect victims because no one had a fucking idea where they were.
Oh my God.
So it was awful.
All the women.
It's true. But like in a bad way. Ladies' night forever. So so he would lure women looking for cheap lodging, and he was a handsome for the time. If you look at a picture, like, ugh. But like for the time, he was a handsome guy.
He looked good for a Herman.
Yeah, and he was a doctor, and he pretended like he was very wealthy. So he was like a catch. And if he was going up to like single women, they were like, "Oh fuck yeah, take me to your goddamn castle, please."
You have a castle?
You have a castle? I'll be your princess. Like, just, I mean, come on. So anyway, so I mean, because I mean, like, it's not like we had a lot of rights back then. So it's just like, yeah, just shack me up with something, please, so I can just maybe hopefully have like
you're a man
shred of like you bat my eyes 1,000 times. Yeah. Although some of the patrons although some of the patrons actually stayed the night and left with no issues at all, like I said. So
well, he couldn't kill all of them.
No,
he had to have some people leave.
He was like, this is exhausting. So after the fair left town,
can't be too suspicious.
So yeah, right. So after the fair left town, so did Holmes, and continued his insurance scams. So the reason why he left was pretty much after the fair left. I mean, like the economy dipped, so he was like, I don't have any room. I don't have anyone for killings. So he left, which is like insane that he built that entire fucking murder house and he just upped and left it. So really, he was only in there for
that house still around? Can you tour it?
I will tell you that. He
better.
So I mean, really, he was only there for 2 years, and he just abandoned it after all that construction and everything else. And he was taking out lines of credit, and he wasn't. So he was having to be on the run at some point because he was just not paying, either the contractors or like when he filled it like with like this like beautiful things, and he was just taking out lines of credit, so he wasn't paying that back. So eventually, he did have to run. So he continued his insurance scams with his right-hand man, Benjamin Peitzel, which Peitzel actually knew kind of what he was doing, that he was killing all these people and everything else, and he was kind of helping him. So, and he
what great friends.
I know, just the best little buddy comedy, right?
Frickin' frack.
Yeah, shit, it's like a different series of Dumb and Dumber, but anyway, so they... they are like, see, they end up in Texas, and he is and he actually is captured from his latest insurance scam in Texas. So he was so Holmes stole horses from Texas, shipped them to St. Louis, and sold them, like making a fucking fortune. And he eventually was caught doing that, and he was arrested and sent to jail. And while he was in jail, he concocted a new insurance scam with his cellmate, Myron Hedgepath, something like that.
Myron and Herman.
It's such, you go from like, your names were like Abby and Andrew and all, and then you get like Myron and Herman. So Holmes said he would take out an insurance policy for $10,000 to fake his own death, and then provide Hedgepath with $500, which I'm not quite sure why Hedgepath thought that was a good deal. But whatever.
Sweet! You're gonna get $10,000,
right? But I guess $500 back then was whatever. So
it was about $5,000.
Right. So once Holmes was released from jail on bail, he attempted his plan. However, the insurance company was suspicious and they didn't pay him. So Holmes then decided to attempt a similar plan in Philadelphia, but this time to have Peitzel fake his death.
How is he doing this from jail?
He was released, and so he attempted to do it, but then like the Phillips, like
the telegram.
Yeah, he was like, how about not? So we're not. No, you're bullshitting us. Okay. So then he just decided, like, okay, well then Peitzel will have you do it, his right hand man. So, however, during this scam, Holmes actually killed Peitzel by making him swallow embalming fluid and then lighting him on fire. What is with people lighting people on fire or things on fire? But it was to like make it like so to make it to like where it was like, yeah.
That's
yeah, it's fucked up.
I mean, a lot of things are fucked, but that's
he wanted to make it so this is why he burned him like beyond recognition, and
so he could fucking take his insurance fraud money.
Well, because he wanted to burn him beyond recognition, because Peitzel's wife had like 5 kids, and so his wife had to be the one, because the insurance companies were kind of like privy to Holmes and his kind of scams. So Peitzel's wife knew that, or was under the impression that Peitzel was going to fake his own death and get this insurance money because they were poor. So Peitzel's wife they just assumed that he was still alive and everything else, and she sent the eldest daughter, Alice, to go with to go with Holmes to identify the body, but she's again under the impression that the Benjamin, the husband, is still alive. So Holmes had to burn him beyond recognition, so that they're like, okay, they know what the scheme is. They're like, but okay, so this is so they know that to say like, yes, this is my dad, but it really is their dad, but they don't think that it is because they think he's still alive, right? So anyway, damn,
this guy was fucking.
He's fucked up. So
tricky.
So this is where and the mother's name was Carrie. I couldn't remember her name. So was
it Abby?
Right? Was it Abby? It was Abby.
Downton Abbey.
And it actually wasn't the eldest daughter, it was the second eldest. And once Alice had confirmed the body was her father's, even though it really was, which is sad, and she didn't think it was, Holmes convinced Carrie to send over 2 more of her 5 children, Howard and Nellie. And it's, because Carrie thought that Peitzel, the dad, was with him. So she's like, oh yeah, no, go with them. But Holmes wanted them so the police would stay off his trail. Holmes then traveled like across the country with the children, getting the now suspicious police off his trail, and eventually did away with the excess weight. The children. Yeah. So, but he also forgot.
Send me your children.
Right? Because I'm going to murder them.
Okay, here you go.
So he forgot to. So during this entire time, Alice had been writing letters to her mother, and assuming that Holmes was shipping them and he never did. And there was a documentary that I got a lot of this from off of Prime, that like in court, when he eventually goes to court for this, they read the letters, and the daughter's like, why haven't you written to me, mama? And it was like, it's horrible. It's awful.
Mama.
Yeah, and it's so the mother's like completely torn up that, you know, the daughter had tried to write to her, but like Holmes never sent the letters and everything else. So anyway, so they actually were killed in Toronto. The two little daughters were killed in Toronto.
Where Drake lives?
Yeah, exactly. So in Toronto, and he had, I guess, had put them like in a little trunk and asphyxiated them, and it's horrible. And then he actually killed the son like somewhere in Indianapolis, and killed him, and they found his poor little body in like a little stove. So this guy was pretty fucked up. But I think there was a reason why he was afraid that they were kind of getting suspicious, and that he felt like he had to kill him because they were just getting suspicious. They're like, where the fuck is my dad? So anyway.
Also, I mean, I guess it was 1890 fucking too, but like,
yeah. But I mean, like, and
how is he not getting caught or being watched more?
Well, he was giving fake names and everything else, and he was on the run.
Then,
he was starting to like kind of the authorities were closing in on him. So, but in 1894, good old Myron Hedgepath, who was angry that he did not receive any of the money in the initial scam, so he didn't receive any of that $500. So if at least Holmes had given that money to him, he probably would have kept going. But he told the police about the scam and that Holmes had planned, and then the police tracked Holmes, finally catching up with him in Boston.
Good thing he didn't pay him.
Where they arrested him and held him on an outstanding warrant for the Texas horse debauchery.
Oh!
At the time of the arrest, Holmes appeared as he was prepared to flee the country, and police became suspicious of him. Chicago police investigated Holmes' castle, where they discovered fucking everything.
Because he just like up and left it. He didn't even like he didn't sell it.
Nope,
he just abandoned it.
Abandoned it. So so many of the bodies that they located were so badly dismembered and decomposed that it was hard for them to determine exactly how many bodies were really there.
Oh my God.
He boasted to killing 27 people, but only 9 could be confirmed. But he gave like 3 different confessions to and I think it was one to like one of to the Chicago paper. That I think was around like an estimated for like $200,000 like in today's money. But he pretty much gave like three different confessions. So it's just like you know,
Lizzie.
Yeah, pretty much. But he was a pathological liar. So who knows what is true. And so
I wonder how many people he fucking killed.
Right. So after but with the 3 different confessions, the number always changed.
And also like the people that were killed in the hotel, like
yeah.
Well, I mean, they're probably travelers, so like it was hard to like
who knows?
Pin it back to.
But it's interesting that he only boasted to claim 27, and if it was indeed more, because actually everyone believes that it could be over 200 people that could have been killed by Holmes. So it's interesting that he only claimed 27, but the fact that everyone thinks it could be more. So who knows if it's what is legend was truth. Mm-hmm. So anyway, and so like all classic narcissistic lunatics, he represented himself at trial. Oh. And
didn't Ted Bundy do that?
Yep. Like again, narcissistic lunatics.
I got this.
So
I got my own ass.
Yeah, so he was on trial for the murder of Peitzel. And what do you know? The jury said like, fuck you. We don't believe anything you fucking say. Good. So knock it off. So before he was executed, he wrote in his memoir.
He was executed.
Mm-hmm, he was sentenced to death by hanging. And before being executed, he wrote in his memoir, quote, "I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer. No more than a poet can help the inspiration to sing." End quote.
That's pretty much the same.
He also was in his 30s. He was 35. Hashtag 30ish.
Holy shit, we're so good.
We're so simpatico, Brianna.
Yeah. Fucking 30-ish, guys. Stay strong. It's hard out there for 30-year-old.
30-year-old single people, and you just fucking have to...
Saturn rising, and
something happens, and you just have to, like, start chopping up bodies, apparently.
You choose to not do that, you guys.
Okay. So... The castle. So, Holmes actually asked to be buried 10 feet under, and encased in concrete because he did not want grave robbers to exhume and later dissect his body.
Oh, like he did to every fucking other person.
A little ironic, don't you think?
That should be in that song.
It should.
We should remake that song.
We should.
To be about murder and crime. Just kidding. That's really creepy.
That's super fucking creepy.
Oh my God.
So the castle. It was a psycho. So the castle was remodeled a castle was remodeled as an attraction and named the Holmes Horror Castle. However, it burned to the ground shortly before opening.
Oh, wow. They're like, yeah, you guys aren't fucking making money off this shit, okay?
It's true.
Bye-bye.
I wouldn't fucking
burn.
I would not fucking go in there.
Again, fire.
Ugh.
The ultimate
Right?
destroyer.
I know.
Not destroyer.
He's
I don't know.
kind of. It's kind of been the theme. We should have been drinking Fireball. Oh, by the way, everybody.
We will never drink Fireball.
No, because it's disgusting. I regurgitated a shot one time. And then I watched somebody else drink it. Anyway. And I did not vomit it. Let me just. Like it didn't even go down my throat. Like a baby bird, like. Bleh, and then they were like, it was in Vegas of all other places, and I'm like, he's like, you gonna drink that? I was like,
after like
no,
17
sir.
shots.
We were in Toby Keith's bar, and he's like, I'm like, I gotta go home.
Toby Keith said that to you?
No, Toby Keith's bar. It was Toby Keith.
Toby Keith was serving us.
He was serving us. It was a really rough time back in the early 2000s for him.
He put a boot in our ass, and that was his song, right?
I have no idea.
We'll put a boot in your ass and land a red, white, and blue.
Jesus.
Something about the flag and
Something like that. Yeah. So here's some fast facts. Holmes actually married his first wife, Clara, in 1878. He was only like about 19, and 2 years later, the couple had a son. So he actually had,
did he dissect
unfortunately,
them?
children. No, but Holmes soon abandoned them. Thank God for Clara. And then married, let's see, Myrtle? Yeah, Myrtle.
I love that name,
Myrtle Belknap.
Moaning
Belknap. Belknap. I'm going to say Belknap. In 1887, even though he had yet to divorce Clara. He filed a few weeks, he fled a few weeks after that, but the papers never went through. Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus Christ, Shay. He filed a few weeks after that, but the papers never went through. Finally, he married Georgina Yoke on January 17th of 1894 in Denver, Colorado.
What?
Not long before he was arrested for insurance fraud. So technically, Holmes was still married to Clara, Myrtle, and Georgina when he was put to death in 1896. He was a little bit of a lazy asshole. And apparently, nobody gives a shit back
lazy.
in the 18... Well, I mean, I know, but like when it came to paperwork, he was a lazy motherfucker.
He was like, fuck this, I'll leave
right?
him.
I don't care.
I'm gonna burn it.
So actually, there's a theory that an American Ripper, it's an 8-part miniseries on the History Channel, which...
Oh, I remember that.
It's nowadays with the History Channel, it's just like... Because they're either talking about aliens or they're talking about like conspiracy theory shit. So it's just like... It's like history...
Take it with a grain of salt.
History Light. So they should call it the History Light Channel. It's an 8-part miniseries on the History Channel where H.H. Holmes' great-great-grandson claims that Holmes was in fact Jack the Ripper, who was active from 1888 to 1891. So...
Oh.
You can chew on that for what it is.
I don't really know this. I mean, besides that he killed a bunch of people, I don't really know the story of Jack the Ripper.
He killed 5 people.
He only killed 55.
He killed 5 people in the Whitechapel district of London, and they were all prostitutes, and he would like dissect them like so perfectly. Yeah, it was really fucked up. But like,
oh, he dissected too. Maybe he fucking was.
he might have been, but at the same time, that would be
London.
super hard because it was happening around the same time. Well, I mean, it was happening. Those murders happened from 1888 to 1891. So technically, he could have done it because his murder castle was in construction at that point. But who knows? It's a theory, and his great-great-grandson really believes that it happened. But
his great-great-grandson's trying to get some money,
probably
from the History Channel. Okay.
Yeah, they're like, we'll believe anything.
Oh, you must know. He must have told you because you're his great-great-great-grandson.
It's true. As a ghost.
Hey, that could happen.
It could happen.
It happens to people.
He actually claimed he was turning into the devil during his trial, and weirdly, when he was hanged, his neck didn't snap like it was supposed to. So he hung there for twitching for 20 goddamn minutes. Can you imagine?
Well, just thinking about what he probably did to some of those people, he fucking deserved that.
True.
Just like my poor chicken when we didn't slit its throat right.
So
and he looked back at me.
He was like,
"Why?" And I said, "I'm sorry."
So later, strange fates started to happen to people that were involved in the case. For example, the office of the district attorney that argued the Holmes case burned down, and it's rumored that all that was left was Holmes' picture. The warden at the jail where...
Maybe he was a devil.
Might have been.
Demon
The
man.
warden at the jail where
obviously.
Holmes was held killed himself. And the caretaker of the murder castle also killed himself, leaving a note that just simply stated, quote, "I could not sleep," end quote. And that is the story of H.H. Holmes.
Holy fucking crime.
Right?
We are fucked up today.
We are kind of fucked up, but we were fast and loose because I got to edit this and release it on the
yes,
same
you do.
day.
Yeah, Shay's
We're going to call this the fast and loose episode.
Good thing you don't have to walk around a lot for that.
I don't. Although my foot's better after being out of that cast. Anyway.
That's good. It looks nice and comfortable in that little airstream.
It looks like I've gotten stung by a bee.
It does. Oh my god, one time my dad got stung by a bee and his arm literally was like, looked like Popeye's arm.
That's amazing.
It was really
Did
weird.
you make spinach jokes at him? I would.
I was like, Dad, catch this can of spinach.
He's like,
Oh, you
I'm
can't.
I'm gonna fucking kill you, Brianna.
Oh. No, we didn't do that. But I did want to tell you something.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to keep this on the podcast, but it's fucking crazy.
What is it?
It's
Okay,
a
just do it.
recent local crime story.
Oh shit. I mean, okay, we'll see. I mean, because I think we're only sitting at like an hour and 10 without it being edited.
Well, I can just tell you it.
Just tell me it.
I mean, we could
How long do you think it'll take?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. Well then.
Anyway, so yeah, that was a lot of crime.
It was a lot of
For
crimes, but
one
it
day.
was fun. I liked your
It
story.
was. You did? Lizzie Borden took an axe, didn't give her mother 40 whacks because
No.
it was her stepmother?
Yep, exactly. And it wasn't even 40. What a fucking exaggerating, dumb person.
They did get the sequence of the killings correct because the mother was killed first and then she killed her dad. So,
like a Valley Girl giving a report.
so like, I really think that it's sort of accurate. And like, yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, let's roll some dice,
Perfect.
bitch, so
Let's
you
roll
can edit this shit.
release
And
it
I'll just be
today.
like, bye.
Bye.
I don't know what to do. What's
No,
this?
I'll come tour your house.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, am I going first? I guess I am.
Yep. Always.
Sis. Oh.
Sis. Okay,
Okay.
6.
Sis. Okay.
Let me guess what it is.
Oh yeah.
Science?
It definitely isn't murder. I know that. So
No.
that's good.
3 is murder.
3 is murder.
We don't even know our numbers still.
I know. I should
we
know
roll
it by
so many
Yeah,
times.
it's true. Okay. 3. 1, 2. No,
6.
6.
You did not roll crime again, Shay, you little cheater.
No. Oh, but I rolled paranormal.
Yes.
Okay. Your turn.
I was like, okay, what do I do?
Okay. What do I do?
5.
Science. Your favorite? You haven't done one of those in a
I haven't
while.
done a global warming story in a while.
That's the only thing you fucking do.
Maybe I'll do
but
science on
you
the-
know what? It's good. You need to do. It's good for us to hear.
Yeah.
But you do whatever you want to do.
I'll do whatever I want. One time, like in the beginning when we were first starting our podcast, I was like, I really want to research how parrots can talk.
How what?
Parrots
Ooh, that's
talk. But then I tried to do that one time. I was like, this is going to be fucking boring.
yeah. We have to find. It's
I would
like a
just have
fine
to
line.
literally find a parrot to talk with us.
That would be amazing.
Be badass. But anyway. All right. Well, it's been real and it's been fun.
A little shout out.
Oh yeah, guys. Hey, it's Brie here. We love you guys. We love that you keep listening to us. We love that you're following us on Instagram, and if you're not, you fucking should. So find us THURDYISH 30ish. You can email us whatever you want. We love hearing your guys' suggestions and your input and your feedback.
All the
And
things.
if you guys are listening to us on Apple, if you feel like you want to rate us or give us some stars, feel free to do that. If you want to tell us about our driving skills, you can do that too. That's what some people
do it.
do
It's fine.
and it's fine. I've been a little self-conscious about my driving with my sticker lately, so
No, I have not been, and I should be. But every time I'm just like, whoops. Well, hope
yeah,
nobody
every
hears-
time. Like every time I do something weird, I'm like, fuck my sticker. So at least I have some fucking accountability now for my bad driving
No,
and my
it's true.
cutting people off and shit.
It's
so.
true.
So yeah, also beep at us if you see our
It's
stickers.
true. Except if you beep at me, I'm probably gonna be like, what? Yeah.
The fuck?
I'm like, oh yeah, hi.
I'll just, even if someone's beeping at me because I'm being an asshole driver, I'll just be like, oh yeah, hi, that's us. 30ish.
Hi.
Listen to our podcast.
Parade wave at him.
But yeah, so go
Perfect.
follow us, comment on our pictures if you like them, if you think it's funny.
Do it.
And we'll keep posting random memes that we
keep
find that
posting
are
shit.
hilarious and things that look like dicks, because that Instagram page is hilarious to me. It looks like a dick. If you guys don't follow them, hilarious.
Do it.
All right. Well,
Perfect.
I guess it's time.
It's time.
Time to say au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night.
Perfect.
Or good afternoon.